Are you prepared to hear what happens next in Maulvi Abul's life? What are your predictions about his daughter's destiny? Will she be married or not? So, let's see what happens in the story. With the passage of time, the appetites of the children increased. Maulvi Abul was caught in the whirl of life. Time had not been kind to him. The hair around his temples had become silvery white. The grip of his teeth on his gums had for long been loose, but his voice remained resonant. However, sometimes that too quivered. Chaudhry Fateh Dad was the only one who knew the reason. Maulvi Abul had once opened his heart to him about a suitable match for Mehrun. The Chaudhry had carefully considered the eligibility of all the young men of the village. There were some who he found suitable, but the trouble was that everyone in the community knew Maulvi Abul well. Chaudhry Fateh Dad tried to negotiate with a couple of elders, but all of them drew back as if bees had suddenly sprung from a bed of flowers. Ultimately, Maulvi Abul's and Zebun-Nissa's prayers bore fruit. A young man from the village who had gone away came back and opened a small cloth shop. He called himself Shamim Ahmed. He was the only son of a Hafiz. After the death of his father, Khudayar tried to follow his father's footsteps. When he was about 16, he went away to the city, leaving his old mother behind. Later, they learned that he had worked in the house of a head clerk, after which he had managed to open a small shop on a footpath where he began selling cut pieces. After saving some money and gaining experience in the business, he returned to the village. He then begged Maulvi Abul to inaugurate and bless his shop by becoming his first customer. That day, in order not to disappoint his erstwhile disciple and his aged mother, Maulvi Abul took a momentous decision. He went to his wife and said, "Shamim Ahmed wants me to inaugurate his shop by becoming his first customer. If you agree, let us buy a piece of cloth for Mehrun's suit. In any case, we will need it for her dowry. My purchase in the presence of the entire village may impress them." "May Allah bless you," she blurted out and immediately took out the key which hung in a thread around her neck. She opened the trunk, took out the tin box and placed it before her husband. As she opened it, her eyes suddenly became bright with unshed tears. Just then, Mehrun walked in. Then she turned back with a smile, almost as if she was thinking, "I know the secret of Abba's readiness to inaugurate Shamim Ahmed's shop." Maulvi Abul counted his savings. There were 43 rupees. He put the money into his pocket, stood up slowly and said, "If somehow Mehrun can be married, all my worries will disappear. I will feel as light as a feather, at least for some years to come." When Maulvi Abul reached Shamim Ahmed's new shop, he found a crowd had already assembled there to watch the proceedings. Most of the onlookers were women. They lingered to gaze with wistful longing at the colorful display. Maulvi Abul inaugurated the shop by first reciting verses from the Holy Quran in his powerful voice. Then he selected a piece of pink cloth with beautiful flowers nestling amidst yellow dots. "I will need a piece from this for a young lady's suit," he said loudly. Overjoyed, Shamim Ahmed picked up his yardstick, uttered, "In the name of Allah," silently, measured 7 yards, picked up the large pair of scissors and cut the cloth. He then folded it neatly and placed it before Maulvi Abul with respect. He almost seemed to be offering it as a gift. "How much should I pay?" Maulvi Abul asked. Out of respect, Shamim Ahmed hesitated for a moment, rubbed his palms, cleared his throat and replied, At the rate of 6 rupees per yard, it will be 42 rupees, sir. His words fell like a bombshell on Maulvi Abul. Suddenly, he felt as if bundle after bundle of cloth from the various shelves had been falling over him. Out of 43 rupees, he kept 1 rupee and quickly paid the rest to Shamim Ahmed. "Thank you, sir," Shamim said, flushing with happiness. "You have graciously become my first customer. I consider it a good omen. That is why I have not offered you any concession today. But I am your humble servant, sir. I will hopefully compensate you soon in some other way." Maulvi Abul placed the bundle of cloth under his arm and got up to leave. He smiled, blessed Shamim Ahmed, and began walking slowly home. What a pity about our society. People appreciate true believers like Maulvi Abul, yet they are unwilling to grant them their rights. Even such people have difficulty finding the proper match for their children through marriage. But as I previously stated, time does not stand still, and eventually the prayers are all we have left.